Who said that? Oh,
On
we're
the
live
bottom
now.
of my page. Now we're live. Hi.
Hi, everyone. We're going to wait and see if we get some people to filter in here.
That's funny. Yeah, at the bottom of my screen it says, "You're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you."
Oh.
Like from the minute I log in, so.
Well, that would have been, I was everyone. You know, yesterday, I called you, I think it was yesterday, and told you that you could have kept the white shit up north. We got more of it today. And it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like it. Hi, Sam Henderson. It sucks. I had to go sign some papers for some medicine that they're going to try to put through my insurance, that Dupixent for my asthma.
Yep.
And I did that after work. And I had to go just about 10 minutes further north than where I was at. So it's not very far. The roads were god awful.
Oh, no.
It was once I got to the office and I was waiting for her to come out. I was like, oh, wow, it's really pretty because it started really coming down, but it was big flakes. But then it got really, really ugly when I had to get back on the road and drive. It was rush hour and it was a busy area, and that I didn't care for that much.
Aww.
I kept thinking, damn it, Tina, you could have kept this up there.
Yeah, because you guys don't get much snow, do you?
We haven't in a while.
Yeah.
We don't get very much. We got a boatload of it the other night. And then it's just today, it's only been like maybe, I think they're calling for like an inch or something, but it's like real slick and slushy because of what we already had.
Mm-hmm.
I was on 75 going 40 miles an hour, but so was everybody else.
Wow.
So it's like, if you
That's
guys are
crazy.
scared, stay off the road.
I can't say much. I'm one of those people.
That you putter.
I putter.
You putter.
And I let people pass me and I wave to them as they go. Don't care.
Tina Marie's in the room and Ashley.
Hi, everybody. And Sammy. I was just chatting with Sam. Actually, Sam and Tina, I was just chatting with them not too long ago. So thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I know.
So you want to see what I got today in the mail?
Sure.
I'm so excited.
Sure.
I'm excited.
What?
Oh, hang on.
Oh.
I got a smudge stick from
Three Sisters.
Yes.
It always smells so good.
It smells so good.
What did you
get?
get?
This is one that she that's special that they just made up for when you're doing like it's cleansing after investigations and stuff, right? It's good for cleansing after investigations. So
Wow.
I ordered a couple of sticks and they sent it up to me in Canada.
Ooh.
So when I can actually start investigating again, I'm ready.
Well, you can investigate it in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Everything's shut down. See, the problem is because we're on lockdown and because of the stages that we're moving through up here, all of my museums that we usually go to are closed. The halls that we usually rent are, you can't rent them out right now. So theaters, we've done a lot of theaters. They're not open right now. It probably would have been a great time to do some restaurants.
Oh,
but again, we would have had to totally disinfect everything when we're done.
Oh, that's true.
Right? So we really haven't done anything.
Anything.
What's that?
Wear gloves and not touch anything.
Yeah. We have PO3 has new fundraiser, not a new fundraiser, but fundraisers coming up, hopefully in 3 different parts for one of the locations that we've been doing up here. So as long as everything goes according to plan, by June we'll be doing our fundraising again. So that was good. And my girlfriend has an old, like 100-year-old farmhouse that she said we could go investigate one Friday night if we get bored. And we're like, oh, okay.
We're bored. We're bored.
We're bored. Let's go.
I think
Jack.
Your farmhouse.
Yeah, it's really neat. I haven't been inside the house. We've only been inside the garage in the back, but the garage in the back was the original house.
Oh, okay.
So it's really, really, really cool. And Jax has created, like, she built the portal, not created, but she built a portal and she built the SLS cam and stuff. So we're anxious to use it. We've only ever used it once. So.
And it worked.
And it worked. It was cool. Yeah, it was really cool.
Because I remember you know that it worked. It worked. It worked.
Yeah.
You got to use it to work.
And we got something in it worked when we tested it in my kitchen, which was hilarious because I've had a little guy in my house lately for probably the last 6 months, and you can hear him running up and down the stairs. I've had people see him. I've physically seen him.
Has Martin seen him?
Martin hasn't. No, Martin's very he's very empathic. He's not he's no more than just empathic. But it's really he's crazy because he can affect people. He can affect people's moods as well as take on their moods.
Oh.
So if I'm really sad, if he comes near me and we talk, I'm not sad anymore.
Aw.
Like, it's really, or same with, like, I have no temper with that kid at all. And anyone that knows me knows I'm a dragon. Like, when I get angry, I get angry.
Comes out.
Never with that kid. Yeah, it's really bizarre. But when he has emotions, when he's sad, he'll take everybody down with him. Like, it's I've never met such a strong empath. It's really insane. Yeah. But my oldest son, Hunter, is a medium, but he doesn't practice, like, he shut it right down. But a couple of months ago, before he moved out, he said, "There's something in your house." I don't know what's in your house. Something was banging on my door and the whole house just feels weird. And I need to get out of here. Your house is, for lack of a better term, your house is effed up, Mom. I need to get out of here now.
Hi, Mark Ortiz. Hi, Tessa Luann. No, that's odd because don't you sage frequently?
I do, but my hometown is very rich in history.
Mm-hmm.
We've had, and it's not good history, like, it's dark history. We've got places in town that were stops on the Underground Railroad. It was native settled. Like, if I go from bottom up, there was native settlements here. The War of 1812 was fought here. There was a lot of rum running and bootlegging that happened here. The Underground Railroad. So it's a lot of dark stuff, right?
That's odd. It's one location for so much.
It's crazy because, like, if I walk, it's funny because I've got this spirit. I'm gonna talk your ear off now. I've got this.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, this restaurant that we investigated years ago, and there was a gentleman that came through, and he was from like that rum running era, and it was funny because myself and my friend Jacqueline, my friend Jacqueline's also a psychic. or not a psychic, well, psychic medium. She's actually really good at both, but she named him Merv. And so we just kept calling him Merv. Like, it was just funny. That was so. That was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's funny because when you go upstairs to the upstairs patio of this restaurant, you can feel him sitting up there all the time. So I was walking back to my vehicle from the park house one night, and the park house is right across the street from this restaurant.
Okay.
And it just, everything felt, when you feel like you're being watched. That's what I felt like the minute I walked out of the building, and I was like, oh God, I don't want to walk to my car. Like, my car is a couple blocks away. And all of a sudden, I literally could feel Merv at my side, and put and like put his arm through my arm and said, "Come on, I'll walk you to your car." And I was like, so bizarre. Like, it's so bizarre, the spirits that you get kind of attached to, right?
That's funny. That's funny.
And people would think I'm nuts, but
As you go walking down the street talking to yourself,
talking to myself, yeah,
with your arm out.
or even telling this story. Like, I can tell the story on this platform because everybody knows I'm nuts that comes to listen to the
Most of
show. So
everybody in here is nuts. So
yeah, that's right. We're good.
Yeah.
But like, at any given time, if you're walking along the river, you can feel, like, for a psychic medium, if you're walking down by the river, you can feel all the different types of spirits from all the different time frames. It's really bizarre. It's cool though.
Now, see, the only location that I've been to that was similar to that, with like, and I described it as like an onion having layers.
Yes.
Okay, like Shrek,
Yeah.
But it was when we were in Toledo in the investigation that you couldn't be there with us, and that was the first time I'd come into a location like that, and I was all kinds of confused. It was so weird because it was like, okay, none of this is making sense, and it was all just like, boom, and all at once, and
Yeah.
jumbled up, and Jay kept saying, well, what do you feel? What do you feel? And Jason said, what are you getting? What are you getting? I'm like, okay, guys, you got to give me a minute because I'm getting really confused is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. It's weird. But I will say that the spirits up there, because the one time that we did that experiment with the park house,
Mm-hmm.
and you went live and I chimed in.
Yep.
Everything was so crystal clear. Tina Marie says, they only think you're nuts, Tina. When you have a little girl and go skipping through the cemetery together. Yeah, people actually got in their car and left when they saw me. Oh, I can bet. They're like, that lady's completely lost it. You know what I remember the most about Park House when I did that came through so clear was the people sitting on the porch in the rockers.
Which is so funny.
Because I kept telling you the porch, and you're like, there wasn't a porch. But you went around back, and there it was.
And there's a porch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that was a newer one. I don't know if there was one built, but you know what's, now that you say that, wow. There is like a sister house to the park house further down the road, probably about 40 minutes down the road if you follow the river.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the John R. Park Homestead. That building has a porch. And you said it was right on the water.
Mm-hmm. I said
it's got a porch.
Watching the water.
Yeah, it's got a porch right on the water with rocking chairs on the porch.
Really?
Yeah, that just dawned on me right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Weird. we've never investigated that place. They won't let us investigate there. It's kind of sad.
Aw.
Mm-hmm.
Would they let you? Can you like go there and just like do a drive-by? I guess
Well,
is the
you
way.
can. It's a museum, so you can actually go into the museum and walk around. So if like for you and I to go in there, we'd be like, whatever, we'd just be reading the whole time we're there anyway. But you can't bring equipment in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can't do it at night, right? You can only go during visiting hours. But it's really cool. We've got a lot of really great museums around here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I want to go up where Tina Marie lives. She's got a really cool cemetery that I want to go to. I've never investigated a cemetery.
I did my first one this October that just passed.
Did you?
Yeah.
Now see, I'm confused, and you guys can chime in the chat. I don't understand. If I pass away, why would I want to stay at the cemetery and hang out there when I could come to my house and scare the shit out of Jay or Hunter? I mean, be with family.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't understand it. This is my home. This is where my family is. I was never at that cemetery before. I don't understand why people would think they would stay at a cemetery.
Would stay at a cemetery. That was always my thought as well.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, Tina Marie says it's the trifecta: ghosts, cryptids, and UFOs.
I know. I can't wait to go.
I know.
I really can't wait to go.
I wouldn't go right now because it's too freaking cold.
Well, I can't go. And by the sound of it, I'm not going to be able to go anytime soon. But I can remote in.
That's true.
Yep.
You had I don't know what made me just think of this. You were talking about not going soon. I was thinking, the vaccinations.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have your second one yet?
I haven't got my first.
I thought you had.
Mm-mm. Nope. I'm not in healthcare anymore.
That's right.
So people that were working in long-term care facilities and stuff, and or like if you worked in a home where there's special needs,
right? Group facilities.
Group facility, yeah. Like those people are getting their vaccinations first.
Okay.
So like Jax has hers.
Just popped into my head, and I know Megan had hers.
Megan had hers. Yeah.
I saw that.
I don't know if you remember my friend Kim that used to investigate with us.
Kim came to OSPH.
Yes.
That was Kim.
Yep. She got her vaccination as well, so she's good to go. So maybe I'm happy for them.
Speaking of Megan, she just popped in.
Oh, look at that. Hi,
Megan. Excuse me. So back to, I don't know why that just popped in my head, but it did. Mm-hmm. Sam Henderson says that unless we're talking about cemeteries, he says unless they were dead.
That's a good point.
That could be. And then Kat Sullivan says that there's a cemetery in Louisville that her and her mom go to, and she said the history is really sad, so she thinks that's why some are there. So Tina says they know they are, Sam, but speaking of they know they're dead, but there is a pull from something there.
Like I know for myself, the cemetery that's around the corner from us, my grandmother's buried in, my great grandmother's buried there. Like there's a certain family area. And when my when we were younger, my great-grandmother, I used to sleep at her house all the time. And she lived in the house right next to that cemetery.
Oh.
So she kind of wanders around the cemetery because we hung out there as kids. Like we used to hang out in the cemetery when we were kids.
You've always
Weird.
been
I know. I'm weird. I've always been a weird kid.
That's funny.
But it's like when you go to visit her at her gravesite, she's there. She's there with you. So if I had equipment, I could probably get her to come through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
cool.
know, but that's why I assume that she's there, is because that was a place that we would go for walks and bike rides and stuff like that, and it was just comforting. It was very peaceful.
Now, I will say that cemeteries are very peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
They have, like, usually, I know down here they have a lot of pine trees in them, or cedars or something like that there. And I know that there's some semblance for that. And I can't remember what it was, for pine trees,
Oh yes,
the cemetery. I can't remember what
it's gonna
that
drive me
was.
nuts.
Um, but they're just really, really peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
When we go up towards, like, towards Eaton, and there's the cemetery that Jay's dad is buried at, and then there's another one that looks almost identical to it over on the other side. And this sounds really, really weird. They're like they're peaceful, they're calm, they're quiet, they're almost welcoming. And I
Yep.
know that may be a really bad choice of words, um, with
No, but
saying
I
hard.
understand.
Okay, because I'm like, this is sounding really bad, but it does it
Here, come
almost
hang out.
right. Welcome to my weirdness. Ashley says, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks about cemeteries being peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, Tina and I I've been to it twice. Tina's been there once, to the witch's grave, the
Mm-hmm.
witch's vault there at Ashmore, and I know Ashley's been there. That one was even peaceful.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Which I found I didn't think it would be. The only cemetery that I've ever been to that wasn't peaceful, it had a really strange feel to it, there was one that we went to, myself and Jax and my friend Jacqueline, and it's about 2.5 hours northeast of where I'm at, in Lucan, Ontario, and there was a very um, tragic story of a family death, and we were kind of investigating that. What's that?
I was just saying hi to Mama D.
Oh, so it's well known in our area, like for anybody listening from our area. It was the Donnellys, and it was the way that the graves were set up in the cemetery. Like this family was kind of persecuted by the town, and the people that persecuted them, their tombstones, like it was like the Donnellys were here, like in the middle, and it was almost like a T or like a cross around them. The families that persecuted them were buried around them this way and this way.
Oh,
It
that's
was
just
so right. It was very unsettling. Like I was very upset. I just said we need to get out of here. Like I couldn't do, like, Jackson and I were kind of wandering around and taking pictures and researching, and I'm like, here's another family, here's another family, and then when we looked at where all the families were as we were looking at gravestones, we're like, oh my God, they're completely surrounding the Donnellys.
and
Like
that
it
was
was
done
just,
on purpose.
huh?
That was done purposefully.
It was done on purpose. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And like, you can't even get away from us in death.
yeah. That's exactly what it felt like. It was so, I was just like, I was mortified. Like, I can never come back to this place. It was very upsetting. So I'm
Um,
sorry, everybody. I'm not keeping up with the chat because I'm on my phone.
that's what I'm trying to pull. And I'm going to mispronounce your name. I'm sorry. Dorius. She says pine trees are a symbol of immortality.
Immortality. Okay.
Thank you. Kat says when Jay and I are ever in Louisville again, go to Eastern Cemetery until you feel different. See, I'm trying to catch up. Give me 1 moment.
I know. I'm like trying to read as fast as I can without my glasses on, so I look special.
And I have mine on all day, so I took them off to do this. I'm like, why? Tina, I don't know if Jay and I are coming to Revenant Con in May or not. Without going into a whole lot of detail, and I was going to do this at the end of the show, but I'll go ahead and do it now. I really, really want some good vibes and some good luck and well wishes my way for tomorrow, maybe Friday. So please. It's not medical. I got my medical back yesterday, and that was okay. Well, kind of okay.
Manageable, okay.
Manageable, okay. I've got my biopsy and everything came back fine on my bronchoscopy. But I've got eosinophilic, I think it's how they pronounced it, asthma, which I was looking it up and it says it's kind of rare. Yay me! But now I have to have injections every 2 weeks. That Dupixent? Yeah, Dupixent is what it's called. So I'm hoping the insurance pays for that. And I've never had to have an EpiPen before in my life. I have to have one of those now. So it's like I'm not trying to get upset about it because it's manageable. Once I get on the medication and it starts doing its thing, hopefully I won't be getting sick. I won't have these flare-ups like every 2 weeks that I'm having now. Mm-hmm. I did find out that that's what's causing my temperature to spike because that's what this is. It affects your immune system. It's not an immuno disease, but it affects your immune system. So it's in your lungs and it affects your allergies with your lungs. So my allergy is mold. So I actually have to be kind of careful in places we investigate now.
Mm-hmm.
Mask may be a pretty good thing for me from now on in locations.
In certain locations, yeah.
I have to watch where I go. And Jay and I were talking about that, and Jason last night, and I was like, well, I haven't had to use my nebulizer when we investigated. I've not done that. He goes, yeah, you did. No, I haven't. He goes, yeah. He says, you and Tina both used it at Hales Bar.
Hales Bar.
I was like, we sure did. And it was wet.
It was and bad.
And pink, and I was like, you're right.
Because that's that's when I realized how bad my asthma, like, I don't have asthma, but I get, like once in a while where I have an inhaler, but it's not something I need to use every day.
Yeah.
So if it,
sorry, no, go ahead.
I didn't bring it with me there because I wasn't used to using it. Like, I very seldom use it, so I had to use your. Thank God. But I do have to, when I go to see Bob in Florida, I have to bring it with me because if it's really humid, I'm out of commission, especially if we're doing something like some kind of physical activity, like if we're kayaking or if we're doing lighthouse tours and stuff like that, where I've got a lot of stairs. I need to use it. I usually use it halfway up and then I use it at the top again.
Going up is always harder than coming down, isn't it?
Yeah, coming down's fine.
Yeah, I've got no problem. It's going up that's the issue. No, they the first injection that I get, I have to stay at the office. I have to get it at the office, and I have to stay there for 2 hours afterwards.
Yeah, make sure you don't have a reaction.
I'm hoping they let me sleep. And then the second one I get, I have to have there at the office also, but I only have to stay an hour.
Oh, that's good.
And I start getting them by myself. And I asked her, I had to go sign the papers today for the insurance and stuff. So I asked her, I said, okay, I'm a big wuss. Let me ask you this. I said, how bad is this shot going to hurt? Because I am the world's biggest baby. And she's like, oh, it doesn't hurt hardly at all. Yeah, that's why I looked at her and I said, it's a needle. Because you will never see the needle. It's a little tiny needle, and you just push it into your skin. It doesn't go in very far. And I told her, I said, well, they're called auto injectors or something like that. But I told her, I said, on the website for Dupixent, they need to fix that then, because it showed a needle that was that long and it literally had something dripping out of it as they're showing you. And I said, hell no. This girl's not doing that. I don't know that I can do that because I am terrified of needles.
This giant needle.
I'm like, oh my God. And then, it shows you, and it's in this like round tube. It's got all kinds of like it kind of reminds you of, how when guys get cigars, they're in that tube. It reminded me of.
Yeah.
And you got to push it in your leg, and you got to keep it there and not move until all the medicine goes down.
Oh, okay.
So they call it's an auto injector. So when I have my first one, I'll let y'all know. But like this morning, I got up, I had a fever, and I was coughing like crazy. So I had to take Tylenol. I'm not worried about going to work with a fever with this because it's nothing contagious and it's not COVID. It causes you to run either a mild fever or a high fever. It can spike. So I just popped some Tylenol. I stayed home for a couple of hours, did 2 breathing treatments with the nebulizer, and then went on into work. And I was okay. I had to use my inhaler later on in the day, but it's real wet outside. Yeah. Even though it's cold, it's real wet. And I think that did me in. So Susan said she did an iron infusion. It took 9 hours. That's about right for those. We schedule those at work.
Oh, wow.
That's about right. My cousin Sherry is in the room. I haven't talked to Sherry in a long time. I went to go get the first reading I ever got probably 8 years ago from somebody that was trying to come on to Jay and I's team at the time. We were just starting up. And she's like, oh, I can be the medium on the team. I'm like, okay, I don't know that we need a medium. Ha ha, little did I know. So funny. But she sat me down in her room and she played like Indian music, like chanting and like American Indian type music.
Yeah.
And it was low and it was in the background and I'm like kind of checking things out. And she sits in front of me. And I hope you don't mind me telling this, Sherry. She was telling me about different things and I did not know her. She did not know me at all. I was wearing a necklace. It was a black pearl that I had gotten from my mom when she passed away. And it was like underneath my shirt. You couldn't tell that it was there. And she told me that my mom was happy that I had the necklace. I said, what are you talking about? I had forgot that I had it on. And
wow.
And I even had, when we left, we looked through all my pictures on Facebook to see if you could see it or anything. And at that time you couldn't because we were kind of new to Facebook.
Wow.
It was really weird, but she was really good. But she came to me and she kind of looked at me and she goes, there's somebody coming through and I'm not understanding what's going on. And I said, well, I said, and now that I sit and think about this, it's kind of funny what I said. I said, well, what does she do? She says, well, give me a minute. It's not making sense. And she just kept looking. She's kind of looking past me. And I said, well, sometimes it may not make sense to you, but it'll make sense. Maybe it'll make sense to me.
That's
And at that
funny.
time, isn't it though? And it did. It made complete sense to me because it had been maybe a month, 2 months since Sherry's mom had passed, my aunt.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, there's a lady coming through and she just keeps sticking her hand out and she's saying something, but I don't understand it. I said, well, what's she saying? She says, I don't think I'm understanding it right. But she's like putting her hand out like a greeting. And I said, well, what's she saying? And she goes, she's saying Rui. And I just busted out in tears because Sherry's mom was one of my favorite aunts. And she goes, what did I say? What did I say? I said, that's my Aunt Faye. She's like, no, she said Rui. I said, her name was Rui Faye. Nobody ever called her Rui.
Wow.
It was always, but that was her way of making sure that I knew who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. Because that just, and she said, she goes, she's really strong, but she said she just keeps putting her hand out and wanting to like introduction, like
Introduce herself.
Yeah, she just keeps saying Rui, Rui. And she couldn't figure out what she was saying because it sounded different. But she was saying her name, which is really cool.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
And now I think about that. The things that I said to her are things that I tell other people now.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I haven't thought about that in a while. That's
I had there's somebody that I go to once a year to get a reading because we can't read for ourselves. So she's awesome. She mentored me and really helped me when I was coming along. And one of the first times she did a reading for me, she says to me, I've got this lady and she's explaining something. She goes, she's sick and her daughter's at her bedside and holding her hand and blah, 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 and telling her it's okay. And didn't really think anything of it because we were in a room full of people. There was probably about 15 of us in the room. And I'm like, well, it could be my grandma, it could be my mom with my grandma. I'm not sure, whatever. And all of a sudden she got up and she said, okay, I have to show you what she's showing me right now. And maybe this will clue in for somebody. And she started doing this little jig. Now, my girlfriend, Adrienne, is a couple years younger than me. She's stunning. She's got big blue eyes, long blonde hair, like perfect smile. She's just absolutely stunning. And she's dancing around the room like this little old lady jig. And she's like, she's fun. I like this little lady. She's so fun. And I'm like, oh my God, that's my grandmother. And I started sobbing and she's like, it's for you. And I said, that's my grandmother. And I said, my grandmother, every time she heard music, she would jig. She would do a little jig. And there's no way Adrienne would have known that. Absolutely. Like, it was just so bizarre. So as soon as she did that, I'm like, you know what? This girl is legit. And that was probably about 8 years ago now. And I've been going to see her every year ever since. She's just,
wow.
And the stuff she says and she'll say that to me all the time. She'll say, I'm not telling you anything that you don't tell other people. You just ain't listening. Okay, yeah. Thanks. Sorry. You're right.
True. That's true. As much as like I would love to have my mom come through, and I would love to be able to sit down at my table, I would even pour her a cup of coffee. Knowing, but that's just, she drank coffee from sun up to sundown. Just to sit down and just have a chit chat. But I feel her around me occasionally. but I never. The first time I ever felt her around me um, was I was in the shower. Odd place, I know. And I had my back turned to the water, and I was just kind of standing there. It was early in the morning, and I felt her touch the back of my head, like pat the back of my head, like you go, because I don't know if I was, nodding off in the shower or what, but it scared the crap out of me because I remember back who it was. It was weird, and
That's
that's
funny.
probably been 11, 12 years ago.
Really?
It's been a long time ago.
Which is funny because even as much time as you and I spend together, she's never come through to me.
Mm-mm.
Like same thing, like I can feel her around you once in a while, but she never has any messages or
Mm-mm.
like she's
Quiet.
chilling. Just
Yeah.
chilling.
Yeah, and that's fine with me. That's
Hmm.
fine with me.
Well, you must not need anything right now, right?
Right?
That's the way I look at it.
That's true. She must be okay with everything that's going on.
Yeah, our messages come through when we need them. So, you know,
When we need them and not when we want them.
exactly. And that's what I feel bad when I have people come for readings because I like the last lady that came to see me, I felt terrible because she wanted to speak to someone specifically. And I had 3 people wander into the room. And I told her who they were. I said I'm getting this type of I said it's funny, it's like an uncle feeling, but it's not an uncle. So it would be like if your parents had good friends that you called an uncle.
Mhm.
That was the type of feeling, and I explained what he looked like. Nope. So okay. So I've got another lady here, that this is what she looks like. She may be a good friend of yours. Like I'm not getting a family feel at all. Nope, don't know who it is. I'm like, okay. So by the third time, I'm like, I've got one more in the room, and if you don't know who this is, I don't know what more I can do. I'm really sorry. Like, I
Oh,
wish I could tap into who you want to speak to, but I can only tell you who's come into the room. And she didn't know any of the 3 that were there, and I thought, okay. And I couldn't read her to save my life. We sat and we had a nice cup of tea together and had a good chat. Um, but at the end of the hour, um, she went to pay me and I said, "Oh no, I'm not taking your money. I didn't do a reading for you. I picked
right.
up on all these people wandering in the house that you don't know."
You didn't know. They
But
came with you, but you don't know them.
yeah, like it was just weird. But yeah, I said, "Oh no, I can't charge you." And yeah, I felt terrible for not being able to, connect to I couldn't connect to spirit guides. I couldn't connect to anyone.
Wow.
So,
Do you see people's spirit guides very often?
once in a while. Mhm.
We
Um
were um, SilCon the last time, Jason, and I, and it was so funny because we were sitting at the table at the Mexican restaurant, and one of the gentlemen with us, Scotty, I kept looking. He was sitting at the end of the table. He was like 2 people down from me. But at the very end of the table, there was somebody sitting there. And I kept looking down, and I'd look over, like, nobody's acknowledging, because I figured if Scotty saw him, he would know, that he's not acknowledging him either. I kept looking, and I was like, so I said, hey, who's the guy at the end of the table, Scotty? He goes, what does he look like? He got like real serious. I told him what he looked like. He goes, you're seeing my spirit guide. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay, there, I feel better.
All right. But that was kind of cool that I
There,
was able to do that.
there's one girl that comes to see me quite regularly, like every 3 to 6 months, she'll pop by. Um, And her spirit guide comes through so strong. And it's funny because it almost looks angelic. Like she almost looks angelic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. And she's like that one I can say every time she walks in, her spirit guide's right behind her. And you can see her. I've seen animals once in a while.
Hmm.
But not, I don't know. My guides talk to me more than their guides, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm way out of practice, though. I haven't, because we've been in lockdown.
Yeah.
I haven't been allowing anybody over. So I'm way, and I mean, I haven't been doing investigations or anything. So I'm starting to kind of go dormant. I hate to say it, but I'm like in hibernation.
Well, it was funny because we went to Randolph County a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time that I'd had really had a chance to use my abilities. And there were so many people there. And there was a particular person there that I was having a big issue with, and it was just their energy.
Mm-hmm.
It sucked. And I finally, because the lady that invited us asked, she says, "What do you keep looking in the other room for?" I said, "There's somebody over there that is just like," she says, "putting off bad energy." I said, "Oh my God, yes." I said, "I don't even, like, it almost makes me nauseous." It was awful. And I couldn't figure out who it was because there was probably maybe 10 people in that other room. And as soon as she crossed the threshold into the room that I was in, I was like, "Oh God, that's her."
There
And I
it
literally left the room because I couldn't. I was like, I have never been around somebody like that it was that bad.
Now, here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been around someone who attracted you to them?
I'm going to say yes, but I think that it is more of a, how I, it's almost like attracts like.
Okay.
So I don't think it's exactly what you're talking about.
See, like when I'm around someone with energy that I don't like, I almost, you can see where my body will move away from them, like it repels.
Mm-hmm.
But I was recently, and I didn't realize it until recently, there's somebody that I talk to frequently, and I have to get like right up on top of him to talk to him all the time. And it's really weird, like because I'm not like that at all. But
No.
it's almost like I gravitate toward the energy.
Yeah.
It's the only
Just
way I can explain
you
it. Mm-hmm. Like
pulling
I've
you
got
in.
to really be careful. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize that I did it. And then I thought about it afterward. Right? Like I'm surprised this guy hasn't looked at me and said, "What the fuck's your problem?" Like get away from me. But it's yeah, it's really weird.
I've not had that before. I've been like, attracted to someone, but like I said, it's usually like attracts like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's usually what it is. But I've
Yeah,
not been.
like some of my girls, if we're on the same page, we've always got to sit close to each other. Um, like if Jacqueline and I are both transitioning at the same time, we got to sit close to each other all the time. We got to be with each other all the time. But
Adam says sometimes that's okay, Tina.
oh, thank you, Adam. That makes me feel better. Because I was like, this guy's gonna think I'm nuts. Have I always done this, or am I just starting to do it recently? Like this is crazy. So,
Funny.
but. Mm-hmm.
I've not had that. I've been repelled, like you said. And
Repelled, yeah.
I've been like, I'll take a step back, or like I'll look for the exit. How can I get out of here? I've done that. But
I
this
start
lady,
coughing.
yeah, I know you do.
like get them away from me now.
Ladies literally made me nauseous, and I thought I was going to
Yeah.
puke, and I had to leave the room. And I have never felt like that before. It was really, really weird.
Wow. Oh, see, maybe I just know a lot more negative people than you do.
I wouldn't say that, but I'm very cautious.
Yeah.
Adam says, agree, both towards and away. It's our empathic side taking over.
Yeah. And I've always been like, my empathic side always guided me before anything else. My mom used to always say all the time I was a very sensitive child. And she used to say that I'm very emotional and very sensitive. And I look back on it now and I'm like, well, that's because I was empathic.
Right.
And she'll say that now too, like now that she kind of understands. It took her a while to kind of understand the whole psychic medium thing. But looking back, she looks back on different things now and it kind of makes sense for me growing up. Different things that I would say or do, or the way I would behave. I've always been very, very open to people. Like, it's funny with spirit, I can shut it down like at the drop of a hat. If I don't want to feel spirit anymore, I shut her down and that's it. With people, I have a really hard time.
Yeah.
So
I get in trouble at work all the time because, like, and my thing is, I can't be rude to someone. It's not in me. If I'm rude to you, you've really pissed me off. You have really deserved it. I get in trouble all the time because I can't be rude to someone that's talking on the phone, especially an elderly person. You know, they're wanting you to hurry up and do these calls, one every minute and a half, 2 minutes. Well, I can't. There's some calls you can get out of there in 45 seconds.
yeah.
You know, boom, boom, boom. They know what they want. And those are usually younger people. They're calling on their way from the doctor's office to the car or something. You know, they've got that little time window and they blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's do the blah, 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 blah. Okay, we're done. You know, everybody's happy. But occasionally you get that elderly person and they just want to talk.
Yeah, they're lonely. They just want somebody to talk to.
I almost said, I can't be rude to them. Well, you need to get off the phone quicker. And I said, I can't.
Yeah.
I said, I'll just have to get dinged for that because I cannot be rude to them. I may be the only person that they talk to all week.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
know, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that person because I hear those people around me and I just cringe because they're rude and I can't handle that. But I've always done it. I don't want to treat somebody. I treat people the way I want them to treat my parents or my grandparents, my husband. You know, I can't. I don't want to be rude to anybody. But like I said, if I am rude to you, there's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it. Unfortunately.
Well, on that note, it's almost 9:00.
It is, isn't it? This hour went by fast.
It really did.
So please give thoughts for me this week, the rest of this week. I'll keep my fingers crossed. And
cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross everything.
Cross your eyes if you need to. I really could use it. So, and then hopefully next Wednesday we'll have something to tell you. If I don't tell before. We'll see what happens.
We've got to do readings one day soon, too. We haven't done readings in a while.
No, we haven't. Let's do. Thanks, Adam. You want to set up to do readings next week?
Sure.
As long as I'm feeling better, and I should be feeling better because they got me on steroids.
Okay.
They put me on them. Take 4 pills for 3 days, then 3 pills for 3 days, 2 pills for 3 days, 1 pill for 3 days.
Wow, that's odd.
So I figure I'll look like the Hulk by the time this is over. So let's do readings next Wednesday.
Okay.
And we'll put it out there. And I'll tell you what, even if I'm not feeling well, we'll still do them. I just may not be as on, but we'll do them regardless.
All right. That sounds good.
Okay. All right. So everybody, we will see you here 8 o'clock next Wednesday.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
You have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye.